Hello and welcome to my first pre-release sealed of Magic Core Set 2019. This is Old Man Poole. I am super pumped to be here. I actually haven't had quite as much time as I often like to look through the cards in the set, so this may take me a little bit longer than usual, but I'll do my usual trick of bringing down kind of one color and talking about it, and then going on to the next one so you guys don't have to think or watch me think about every single pick here. I see we've already got Box Stomper, so I'm pretty sure the sealed pool is already fantastic. Let's look at our rares very first. Okay, Omniscience. Super sweet. Probably not really something you can play in draft. Metamorphic Alteration. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature. Oh, okay. It turns any creature into a clone. I mean, it's cheap, but it's also kind of bad, because it always is going to be opening you up for a 2-for-1. Like, you put on a token or something, I guess it's maybe gets a little bit better, but you do have to kind of sacrifice a creature to get your clone. I am a sucker for clone effects and limited in general, though, so not so bad. One with the machine. Draw cards equal to the highest converted mana cost among artifacts you control. Also doesn't seem real great, but we'll see. Sarkhan's Unsealing. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 4, 5, or 6, Sarkhan's Unsealing deals 4 damage to any target. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 7 or greater, deals 4 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. Probably like a reasonable ramp payoff if you got some really big stuff going on. And Latlas, Dragon Queen. Well, that goes along well with Sarkhan, I suppose. Not quite 7 power, unfortunately, but still, just being able to burn something for 4 is pretty powerful. 6/6 flying for 6. Whenever a non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 5/5 red dragon creature. Seems sweet. Protection Tower. Oh, this is like the anti-hexproof, anti-Boggles card. Okay. Well, I don't think our rares were super inspiring, but we maybe have a good opening into red and maybe blue if the rest of things look good enough. Let's go over our colors. Let's start with white here. So our white's kind of interesting. We do have some power here for sure. We have Najani's Pridemate, which I think is going to be one of the headliners for kind of the black-white life gain deck in the format. And we do have a couple of other cards like Ajani's Welcome, Leon, and Vanguard that might be okay in a kind of dedicated life gain deck, but aren't real exciting outside of that. We've got like Angel of Dawn, which is really quite good. I think as a common goes, 5/5. A 3/3 flyer for 5 that pumps your entire team when it comes in seems pretty stupid good. Knightly Valor is something that always looks kind of unimpressive, but really overperforms. Starcrown Stag looks good. This is, I guess, a worse version of Territorial Hammerskull, but Territorial Hammerskull was stupid good in that format, so probably good here. And we've got a bunch of other kind of mediocre filler stuff. I think white looks okay. Doesn't have any removal, which I would like from that color. And it doesn't have any real star power, but it's not embarrassing either. Okay, next we're going to go on to blue, but before we do, I do want to say thanks to all of you for being here. Thanks so much for watching this video. Thanks so much for subscribing to the channel, liking the videos, and commenting below. I love to hear from you guys. I love feedback. It's really been impressive to me to see the channel grow over the last couple of months. You guys have just been absolutely astonishing. Thank you so much. I can only be doing what I'm doing right now because of you guys. I don't know, it's really great. Thanks so much. If you haven't subscribed already, definitely do so. Join the channel. I put out new videos every Tuesday and Saturday, generally draft, generally sealed. I've been doing a lot of Magic Arena content lately, as that's kind of really getting its feet, but I'm still going to be doing all of the pre-release content here on Magic the Gathering Online, and drafts in a couple of days when they release on here as well. But I put out a lot of great content. I would love to have you guys here. I'm also super excited to announce that Wizards invited me to be part of the early release stream for M19 on Magic Arena. That's next Wednesday the 11th from, I think, 1 to... Oh man, I'm going to butcher this now. I'll put the link in the description and comments. But I think it's from 1 to 5 Eastern Time. I'm really worried that's wrong now, but I think that's right. I've also got 20 beta codes I'm going to be handing out, so that's pretty sweet. If you haven't been a part of Arena already, this is a great way for you to get the opportunity. Come support the channel, have lots of fun. I don't stream very often, but it would be great to see you guys there if you can. Okay, on to blue. Okay, after looking over blue, we definitely have a fair number of cards that care about artifacts specifically. Scholar of the Stars, I think, is probably pretty fine, but if you control an artifact, it's quite good. And One with the Machine, obviously, doesn't do anything if you don't have an artifact, but drawing like 3 for 4 or something similar is pretty good. I did a quick run over the artifacts we have. We do not have many. We've got 3. Manolith, which can be playable, I think, in sealed, especially because this format looks like it's going to be a little bit slower to me. Suspicious Bookcase, which can help us set up for all of our sweet card draw. I think that the 0-4 for 2 is not fantastic, but it's okay, especially given the fact that it's got a pretty good activate ability in the late game. And Gearsmith Guardian, which I think is probably playable if you're in blue and kind of unexciting outside of it. But One with the Machine really is a pretty big reward if we have one of those three. I'm not sure it's worth playing a card that we only can find 3 of in the deck. But and one of them's only a draw 2, which is kind of whatever. But if we do get a draw like 5 or even 3 off Manolith, One with the Machine ends up being pretty good. Other blue cards I like, I'm going to start out saying that Metamorphic Alteration is good, although that is with a little bit of reservation. Even Wind Mage seems really sweet. Windrake with Prowess is just great. Exclusion Mage, Mana Wars got reprinted, which is kind of stupid. Sift seems good. I don't know why this wasn't just Mana War, I guess. No, because I don't know, like the modern human dex is just going to play Reflector Mage, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know why this is not just original sweet Mana War, but that's okay. Still a cool card. Disperse, Snapping Drake, Divination, Frilled Sea Serpent, I think it's a fine finisher. Blue actually looks pretty solid to me here. I'm not sure if we really have the synergies to make the artifact deck come together. Especially because I think that the color that's supposed to pair for the artifact matters is in white. We don't have any synergies there. But blue does look fairly solid. Let's look at black. So our black looks solid but not very deep, which I think will be a problem for it. We have 2 Child of Night, but that's kind of our only other thing that goes along with payoffs for the life gain deck. Pridemate is good, but that's kind of it for building around it. Ravenous Harpy I think is going to be pretty stupid, although you do want to be in more of a tokens deck as well. This has the potential to be a really big flyer, though, if you've got some kind of expendable creatures to toss at it. Nightmare's Thirst seems good. I also think the Vampire Neonate will probably be okay. If you do have life gain synergies, this is a repeatable life gain source, and that's pretty powerful. A 0-3 for 1 is, like, not great, but not terrible either. And just a bunch of other kind of fine cards, like Doom Dissenter or like Skymarch Bloodletter. But I think black's just not going to be deep enough to really be considered. So we really want our red to be good. That's where a couple of our cool rares were, so let's hope for that. Alright, we're fortunate that our red actually does look quite good. We have a Shock, access to 3 Electrifies, which is pretty absurd. This pool hasn't had a whole lot of removal in it, but 3 Electrifies goes a long way. We do have Sarkhan's Unsealing, which I think is cool enough to play. I'm not sure if it'll end up being super powerful, but we have a couple of other cards that it works not terribly with. We have Latless right now, also a Siegebreaker Giant, also Fire Elemental if we're kind of desperate. I guess actually the Ogres, right? It's just power 4, yeah. Okay, so the Ogre's actually triggering it's a pretty big game too. I have a Dragon Egg, which I think is fine, can help defend in the early game when we don't have a ton of early drops actually in red. And Spark Tongue Dragon's obviously great, does synergize with Latless, which is pretty cool too. A lot of times it's just going to be a 6/6 big flyer for 6, which I think is perfectly fine. That's above rate, will definitely get your opponent dead. But if we do manage to ever make an extra dragon on top of it, it's going to be pretty stupid. So red looks good. I think red is going to be one of our 2 colors. Let's go ahead and look at green. So the very first thing I noticed about green is that we have 4 Naturalizes. So we got that set up in the sideboard if we want. Also Plummet, which is nice. It's kind of cool because I think if we do go for this Sarkhan's Unsealing style deck, Colossal Majesty fits into that quite well. If we do manage to have a creature with power 4 or greater, we get to just draw a bunch of cards off of this, and that's pretty sweet. This is, like Sarkhan's Unsealing, a little bit situational. There are going to be times where you play this and it just doesn't do anything because you don't have an appropriate creature, which is unfortunate. But it seems sweet. I think I'm going to probably end up trying for that deck. Reclamation Sage I think is a pretty good main deck card. A 2/1 for 3 is pretty bad, but whenever you do hit, it's just going to be stupid good value. And obviously, you could leave this in the sideboard and hope to just really snag specific things, but there are enough like enchantments running around this set and even a couple of reasonable artifacts. I think Reclamation Sage is a main deck inclusion. Gaspark Twins also seems very powerful. It does cost 7, but it's a 7/7 trampler, and it can kind of help stabilize you a little bit better than a lot of times these cards can, because it enters the battlefield and then can block 2 creatures potentially. And then we just got a bunch of kind of like medium-sized stuff. Colossal Dreadmaw, Rock's Oracle. Declare Dominance, I'm not sure is fantastic. You do get to snipe utility creatures some amount of the time by putting on a big creature, and sometimes you can use it as a lure effect to get the rest of your board in. We have an Oaken form and a Blanchwood armor, which I don't think would end up sitting into the green-red deck if that's the direction we go. Those are both pretty good if you can jump them on like a flyer or something. They will get your opponent dead pretty quickly, but also it's got the aura problem that you can open yourself up for 2-for-1s. And then a couple of Basilisks to finish it off. So I think our green would have been quite good if we'd gotten just a little bit of ramp, had gotten the I can't remember what it's called, but the 1/3 that taps for mana would have been really, really solid, since it looks like we're maybe going for sort of a ramp deck in that. I guess we have Manolith, which does help, and could play like Suspicious Bookcase in that deck as well. How many 4+ creature power things do we have? That one does it, that one does it, that one does it, that one does it. The Ogres, actually, I feel like that's one of the reasons why this deck might actually be okay. Because they're so cheap and can get it done. Okay, so, I mean, a reasonable amount, and Sarkazin Sealing is valuable when it comes in, but pretty good. I mean, you only have to activate this, like, once to be it was okay, and twice to be quite happy with it. And I think we have the potential to do even more than that in this deck. And then Colossal Majesty. We need to keep a creature alive, I think, is our biggest failing there, but I think we probably can, too. Nothing really exciting elsewhere. We've got Reliquary Tower, which is not really playable, and Detection Tower. We have 1 Cinder Barons, which I guess we could splash for a black card, but I don't think any of them are really exciting to splash. Yeah, let's look at our green-red here. I think that a lot of our power does come in the big creatures camp, and none of these other colors really have anything that go along with that. So yeah, let's play big creatures, no ramp. That always works, right? Alright, so this is all of our playables, but not really a deck for sure. I don't think we're going to play Blanchwood Armor and Oaken Form. We maybe side them in if my opponent just doesn't seem to have any removal, because they do make really, really big threats. You draw this on like a Colossal Dreadmaw, or one of our dragons, or whatever else, or even like Daggerback Basilisk. Things die really fast. But it is pretty bad against removal too. I like all the removal we have. I think I do want Titanic Growth and Shock. Definitely want Manolith. Maybe Declare Dominance. Maybe that's another expensive card that we just can't really afford. Maybe gonna cut a Fire Elemental. I do like having my 4-power creature count high, but Fire Elemental is probably the worst of our options up on the top end. This brings us down to 24 with Manolith. I think we're actually gonna play 23 with Manolith because we do want to hit the top end for sure. It's funny, I feel like we have the opportunity to splash something here, oops. But I really don't know what to splash. I mean, I guess like Sift maybe is really powerful. I don't know if there's anything that just really merits it. So probably just won't actually splash, we'll just use Manolith as stupid ramp. But I think our curve is a little bit on the high side. Kind of want to cut one of these Daggerback Basilisks. Feels like this card is just not super great. I guess it does sort of the same thing as Dragon Egg. Wonder which one of those is better. I think probably realistically the egg is worse than Daggerback Basilisk, although not sure. This card can beat in, and the egg just doesn't do anything in some cases, and your opponent doesn't have to crack the egg. When they do, it feels pretty good. I mean, you get a great rate on like a Dragon Whelp, but Daggerback Basilisk I think has a little bit more play, a little bit more utility to it. Okay, I think I'm going to call this the deck. I'm not sure it's fantastic, but I think it is fine, solid. Not a super disappointing like first sealed pool. And deck recommends more red than green. I think that sounds okay. Having a little bit extra red to like play Shock and 2-spell in 1 turn is pretty good. And then we do have things like Sparkton Dragon, which I think is triple red eventually, right? Yeah, triple red. So I think I like that. Yeah, we'll call this the deck. I have some good removal, have some big creatures. Hopefully we don't get run over by a super aggressive deck since we have like no 2-drops, but seems sweet. Let's go on for match 1. Hello and welcome back for match 1. We've won the dice roll. We would love to play first. And well, this feels fairly customary for a deck with as crazy a curve as we have. We do have a good number of 3-drops which we can maybe find. I think I'm going to keep this. Might be bad in the format, it might not be. If my opponent also has a pretty slow start, this hand is quite powerful. If my opponent's a little bit more proactive, we might die before we get to cast anything. So, opponent has mulligan down to 6. Hopefully a good omen. Hopefully that means that they weren't just smarter than we were about our keep. No 1-drop. Again, doesn't look like a 1-drop at least. Ooh, Sarkhan's Unsealing. Okay, so we can have that turn 4 potentially, and then turn 5 probably shoot something, then turn 6 probably shoot something. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Let's go ahead and pass back. Again, I feel like this deck would just be so much better if we had 1 or 2 ramp sources. I mean, we have Manolith, but Manolith is poor man's ramp source for sure. Ooh, alright, Swiftclaw. Okay, and Daggerback Basilisk right on time. We would be pretty happy to trade those, I think, actually. Despite the fact that the Basilisk is a little bit more expensive than the Swiftclaw. Yeah, I just don't want to take billions of damage here, especially with such a good amount of inevitability in our hand. I imagine my opponent will swing. I think if I'm in my opponent's spot, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great trade for me. And it is a good trade. But it's a trade that I am willing to make, given the information we have. And no additional play. Okay, that's pretty solid for us. I feel like I'm reading this card wrong. Whenever you cast a creature spell with lots of power, it's not even when it enters the battlefield, it's just cast. We don't have any 7 power stuff, right? So really only the top half matters. No, I guess we do have the Tree Folk Twins. Okay, forwarding target though. Yeah, that just seems super cool. Sarkhan laying down the beatdown. Even if my opponent doesn't have a play here, just like next turn we drop the Siegebreaker Giant, say take 4. Next turn we probably can follow it up by either like electrifying what they have or playing the Colossal Dreadmaw and killing it off that. In which case we hit for like 6. Yeah, okay. I'm glad I played this card. It seems busted. Of course, if my opponent can't get out of the doghouse with lands, it doesn't matter quite as much, but it does seem good. Go ahead and shoot my opponent for 4. Unusual, I think, that you'll use Sarkhan's Unsealing that way, unless you're finishing the game, but yeah, looks like my opponent took a mulligan and probably kept like a 2-lander or something similar, and just like, oh, that's not too bad, but didn't end up getting there. 2/1 flying, exile cards from a graveyard. Okay. Yeah, 2/1 flying is good for sure. Not as good as a land, probably, for my opponent. So I think we're just going to keep the pressure on here. We're going to play the Ogre. Shoot the Cleric. Make sure my opponent just can't build up a board state here. Opponent could have sacrificed in response, I guess, to get a little bit of value in, but... And now I think we're just very likely to kill my opponent next turn. Unless they have removal. I guess if they have a removal spell, they don't die. That's not great either. Okay. Take Vengeance. Rest in peace. Land. Okay, cool. My opponent goes down to 2 here. Yeah, these ogres I think are gonna be the linchpin of the deck. Okay, so black-white, that's probably life gain. Showed us at least 1 flyer. Probably have more in that color combination. Did not see any artifacts or enchantments. Most of the white removal is enchantment based. I think we are going to bring in Plummet. Tanic Growth may not be exceptional. It's not real likely to save us from removal. And I think all of our stuff's big enough that it's probably getting in pretty well anyway. I think we do need the Basilisk. I think my opponent's likely to have some early plays. Declare Dominance. White has access to a lot of token makers, so maybe that becomes a problem. Really, I feel like I should just play this, because maybe it'll end up being good, maybe it'll end up being bad. Having a little bit of experience early on in the format's probably good. I do think I like that shift, though. Titanic Growth does not work with Sarkhan's Unsealing for obvious reasons. Does it work with Colossal Majesty? Give your upkeep if you control a power creature power. So I don't think this triggers, actually, I don't think you can respond to the trigger, and upkeep's the first time you can do something in a turn, right? Tap, upkeep, draw, yeah. So I don't think you can actually use that to draw a card, like cycle. Anyway, a little bit of a random thing. You have to let me know if I'm wrong on that. All you in the comments that know the rules better than me. Alright. Well, let's see if we can follow this up with a swift sealed victory here. Ooh, pretty bad hand. If we find a couple of lands we can Manolith, and then actually things just become okay. We do need to find 2 lands, though. We have a Shock, which is nice for early play. We are on the draw, but if we find just 1... We have 2, I guess we have, 2 draws to do it, right? Or 3 draws to do it. We need to find 2. I think this is just a little bit too suspect. It's very close, though. I could see keeping this hand with the Shock. If Shock wasn't there, I don't think it's playable, but... Okay, this hand's probably marginally better. Let's go ahead and keep. It doesn't have early interaction, which is a problem. Do we want to take the Unaki Ogre, or just want to make sure we have a lands to hit our Manolith? I think I actually might bottom this. I think this card actually is pretty fine, but I think we want to guarantee we find lands and hope my opponent has a little bit of a slower start. It's only fair, right? They mulliganed last game. We had to mulligan this game. Okay. Don't hate seeing that forest. But yeah, we've got a really high curve here. Like, we want to get up to or I always want to say this Gnarlbark, but Ghastbark. Okay, well, there's the Swiftclaw. That will cause me some pain. So what's the best draw now? Like Shock, probably? It's just our best draw. We can play Manolith and Shock something off of it. Not a super likely draw, but 132. You never know. Okay, my opponent didn't have a 3-drop. That's good for us. Play our Manolith. It's definitely possible we just play the Spark Tongue Dragon with no, like, kicker. Ooh, interesting. Hard Blade. Ooh. Yeah, we might get dead pretty quick here. This deck is, like, powerful, but also pretty slow, and my opponent is taking full advantage of that. You know, honestly, I think we just gotta play Spark Tongue Dragon. Well, let's see. We're 2 turns off the Twins. We hold on to the Dragon. It's gonna be more turns beyond that. Could hold up Electrify. I think we just gotta play the Dragon. It's not gonna be a great trade for us for pretty obvious reasons, but we are... No, do not have the mana for that. We are hemorrhaging life pretty quickly here. Yeah, sorry, Dragon. Yeah, I know you don't really want to trade for a Hired Blade, but now might be that time. It's very possible this eats removal, in which case I guess Electrify would be a little bit better. Electrify is a little bit more mana efficient, though. And if we find something like Suspicious Bookcase, or Shock, I really want to be able to play that in addition to the Electrify. Opponent showing off a Poison-Tipped Archer. Okay, that's a pretty good card. So it's whenever another creature dies, just period, right? Ugh. I guess we still trade. Feels bad, though. So we're gonna go down to 6. Use Electrify to kill off the Poison-Tipped Archer. This does not count itself. Go down to 3 the following turn. Hopefully have the Twins keep us alive. Ugh. Cool art on that guy. We're down to 6. Down to 6. Reclamation Sage is not something we can play in addition. I think we have to Electrify the Poison-Tipped Archer. I guess there's no reason to play it now, unless there's a Pump Spell in these colors. I guess we don't really want to die to a Pump Spell. I don't think it's real likely my opponent's going to be equipping it up either. Okay, so we go to 3 next turn. After that we play the Twins. Pray they don't have removal. Down to 3. My opponent is, like, kinda out of gas. It's not impossible that this turns the tide. Probably not exceptionally likely, but not impossible. Alright, Twins. Let's hope that Black doesn't have one of those unconditional removal spells that we keep hearing about. Oh no, my opponent's tapping. Oh, okay. Herald of Faith's pretty bad, but it doesn't mean we're just dead, I guess. That card's... Wow, this card's really good. 4/3 flying for 5 and gains you life out the wazoo. Come on, this guy's huge. Does it not have reach? A little bit? Oh, man. Alright. I guess we might as well play it out. No real reason not to. But... yeah, well, we are dead on board, and I have to imagine my opponent's going to try for it. So, we've had 2 pretty one-sided games. One where my opponent just couldn't play anything, and one where they ran us over pretty quickly. I wonder if we should sideboard into another color that has more early interaction. Just feels like all the cool stuff this deck can do is because we're matched with green. Could play like Goblin Motivator, it does block the 3/1. Maybe we bring in Dragon Egg. A lot of my opponent's stuff has been on the ground for what that's worth, just to make sure we have it. Maybe we cut Declare Dominance. I don't know, I'm suspicious of that card. And it's probably best in board stalls, which I'm not sure this will end up having too. Want anything else? I think Plummet is a good inclusion. Naturalize would hit Manolith, but that's kind of it. If we were to swap into another color, I guess we'd swap into like black probably for 2 drops. That just doesn't feel great. Yeah, I think we're just gonna run this again and just have to hope that my opponent has a slow start. Alright, would like to play first. And a good enough hand. I like Suspicious Bookcase. If we find a land, we can get Manolith online. Colossal Majesty draws us cards eventually. I think this is okay. Suspicious Bookcase, I think I'll do either a combat trick or a removal spell, or will save us a lot of life, and that's pretty good for any of those instances. We do need to find a land in the first 2 draws pretty badly, but assuming we do, I think things are okay. Come on, land. Nice. And then my opponent can't answer like Colossal Dreadmaw on turn 5 after Colossal Majesty. That's pretty good. Marauder's Axe is problematic. I think we play Manolith over the Basilisk. Let's see. We play 3, then we have 5. Not real likely we're going to want to play anything else in addition. But I do want to play Colossal Dreadmaw, and I do want Colossal Majesty. I think the Basilisk just matters less than those other things. Let's pass. So Marauder's Axe means that my opponent will probably be able to swing past Suspicious Bookcase, but it's also kind of slow. I think this card's probably good, probably playable, but a little bit slow. So let's see. We have 5 mana available now. No guarantee we'll find the 6 for the Dreadmaw. Could just play Siegebreaker Giant. That doesn't look fantastic on this board. I think I'd rather get that later with like Colossal Majesty in play. So the question is, I guess, do we want to... Or I guess we could play Siegebreaker Giant with just no intention of blocking if my opponent equips up. And then we play like Colossal Majesty and Daggerback Basilisks if we find a land next turn. This can't swing unless my opponent equips. That's probably its whole turn. Yeah, I guess mana efficiency wins the day again. Siegebreaker Giant. Yeah, Manolith, the poor man's ramp doing its job this time. Okay, opponent gonna equip up. Yeah, we'll just take 5 here, which is not a small amount. Oh, no swing. Oh, I'm really happy with that, especially with the Reclamation Sage draw. That's just stupid. I think we'll just play Colossal Majesty and pass then. And hope that we just get to start drawing some cards. Seems pretty good to me. Reclamation Sage is going to get us some really good value, but again, I think I'm okay taking a little bit of damage here and just trying to draw some cards. Suspicious Bookcase. This might be like, well, no, because we're going to blow up the Marauder's Axe, and then it's a pretty good blocker again. So yeah, we're just going to take 5. Invoke the Divine. Okay, fair enough. No real value for our opponent. No attacks still. Okay, so now we can play the Daggerback Basilisk and Reclamation Sage. Or we could just play Dreadmaw. We can't actually swing in real easily, even if we do play the Sage at this point, so I guess we'll just still just play Dreadmaw. That will hit pretty hard next turn. Yeah, my opponent has found their colors of land. Invoke the Divine was unfortunate there, but that's alright. We have a pretty massive board advantage. Ooh, Sarkhan's Unsealing. Like me a Sarkhan's Unsealing. Do we want to go for that before Reclamation Sage? Again, it's a little bit more mana efficient. This guy can't really swing either way past that. Colossal Dreadmaw might run into a trick. I actually don't know the tricks in the front super well. Titanic Growth would get us. There's the Destroyed Tapped Creature that we already saw, which we kind of can't avoid. The problem, like, these both can swing though, which is not irrelevant either. Yeah, maybe we'll hold off on Sarkhan's Unsealing. So, and this maybe has some slight advantage as far as keeping us from getting blown out by a combat trick or something. I'm not really sure what it would be, but Reclamation Sage looking fantastic here. Let's go ahead and go to attacks with our Dreadmaw. Still not going to swing at the Siegebreaker Giant. We have a lot of power on board, and my opponent might die pretty quick. No blocks. And we'll play a Daggerback Basilisk as well here. Despite finding Foul Orchard and really kind of fixing the rest of their mana, I think is Hired Blade. Okay. Oh, it's interesting. They could have 2 for 1. I guess that's maybe not great, especially because they want to keep Siegebreaker Giant back. So it probably has some play. Strangling Spores. Rest in peace. Siegebreaker Giant. You looked intimidating. Your main claim to fame. Okay, we'll play the Sarkhan's Sealing at this point. We're just going to swing with everything here. I'm pretty okay trading bits away, and we're definitely on the aggressive at this point. My opponent wants to trade for like Daggerback Basilisk. It's fine. They got the double block. I'm pretty okay with that as well. Oh, I should shock. That was really bad. Oh, I was like, oh, double block, that's sweet. Shock would have been like miles better. Oops. Okay, the first big misplay of the format. We can count them already. Oh, that was so bad. That would have like put the nail in the coffin for sure. Oops. Okay, hopefully it doesn't punish us. Oh, that was so bad. I just like clicked through so quickly I didn't even think about it. Okay, Skymarsh Bloodletter, solid card for sure. Okay, well, Latva's helps us save face, or Latless. So let's go ahead and play this. We're just gonna shoot the Bloodletter. Oh man, that was so bad. That was so bad. Fortunately, I think we're ahead enough that it just isn't gonna matter, but oh. My opponent could be just down to 3 right now with no prayer. So don't be like Old Man Poole. Remember to use your shocks. No bomb, no board wipe. Just a regular old creature I think we got. Okay, Poison Tip Archer's pretty good. Does enter. Although we can just use Suspicious Bookcase to get it through, right? And then we just have lethal, right? So we swing in for 3 based on that, and then have shock plus these other 2, and one of them's gonna get through. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. This does not gain my opponent life, although that would be a trigger anyway, so they block, and we just have lethal. We even have lethal with just the pump spell, or pump effect. Let's try pumping. Okay, we got him. So yeah, our missed shock unfortunately did not end up mattering. Yeah, cool. Our opponent had a couple of a little bit rough draws. We didn't quite get to live the Colossal Majesty Dream, but that does seem like that's going to be a good option for us. Cool, happy to pick up match 1. See you guys for match 2. Hello and welcome back for match 2. We have also won the dice roll. Is this a keep? It's a good hand if we find Mountain. We do need to find Mountain. We have 3 draws to do it. No, 2 draws to do it before it gets dire. And if we find a forest, it's still not miserable. I don't think this deck mulligans particularly well, because we do want to hit land drops and spells to play our top end. I think I'm going to keep it. We only need to find 1 card to get there. We have 2 draws to do it. That seems not disastrous. Alright, everybody chant with me, off the top of the deck. Give me a mountain. Mountain, 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 let's go! Ha ha ha, yes. Always reward for greed. Still want to draw more lands. I really want to get all these electrifies going, but probably shock whatever this is. Yeah. It trades well with the ogre. We can't have that. Come on, land off the top. Don't care what. Yeah, not a land. Play our ogre and pass back to my opponent. Card's probably good, right? Drawing a card is powerful. It's a 4/2. It trades down a lot, but it frequently is going to be a 2 for 1. One has no play. Land, 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 land. Woohoo! Goodness hardly puts up a fight. So they may have Hired Blade. If they flash it in, I think I will kill it. Probably. Hired Blade looks like the play. Could just let it trade, plan on electrifying what my opponent plays in the next turn. As we're not guaranteed to hit land drops, and I like having some board presence. I think with 2 electrifies in, in hand, I'm okay with this. This isn't the best use of one of the better removal spells, but I think I'm okay trading my opponent's turn 3 for an Electrify. One goes down to 16. And hopefully they're just not like crazy bomb heavy on the top end, because we did use up our a pretty good removal spell there. I think my opponent has to be happy with that trade. So we're still chanting lands, right? Everyone at home, chant lands for me. Land, land, land. Give me a land for the Rocks Oracle. It's almost a land. It's a 5-drop. All right, swing with our Ogre. They have another Hired Blade. I think this one we'll just trade for. Okay, looks, oh, or something else. Maybe Electrify of their own. Oh, okay, Strangling Spores. Fair enough. And we will just pass at this point and hope to find some lands. Any like large threat my opponent has, we can still Electrify. I feel like if they'd had like some smaller creatures, they would have played that try trade off with the Ogre. Maybe not. I think I'm just gonna allow this. It's not mana efficient, but we do want to like kind of sandbag some power probably. On the other hand, we may have to use it now. We'll take 2 and then maybe kill what's at the end of the turn. Uh-oh, what's this? My opponent's excited about it. Okay, Volcanic Dragon. Yeah, that will eat an Electrify. We're happy we saved it for that. Oof. Card's so good. It just hits you for like a million damage out of nowhere. Okay, come on. Give us a land. Land off the top. Land off the top. Come on, lands. That's almost a land. At least we can play it. If only our Anaki Ogre hadn't bit the dust. My opponent is down to 2 cards in hand. It's possible they don't have a whole lot more. Like, hopefully not another Volcanic Dragon. Uh-oh. Okay, Bloodletter. That's good, but not nuts. Yep, we will take it. We're taking a fair amount. Okay, well, Ogre is worse than a land at this point still, but if my opponent doesn't have an answer, at least we'll get to draw 2 next turn. And hopefully start digging us out of our rut here. To be fair, I mean, we started with a 2-land hand. We found lands early on when we really needed them. Uh-oh. Alright. Go down to 10 here. Starting to get dire. Okay, we did find a land though. I like me lands. I think Rocks Oracle. We really want to hit our next land drop for Lathless. Like, I think that's our biggest, most important play. So I think I'm going to play the Oracle, just because it draws us 1 deeper and makes it likely we'll hit our land drop. Okay, Siegebreaker Giant would hit a little bit harder, but Plummet is going to be good against this deck for sure. You don't usually think of Black-Red Flyers as being the thing, but this definitely looks like Black-Red Flyers. So if Lathless dies, we're still in pretty big trouble, but assuming she can come in and stabilize us, we're not doing so bad. By just shooting us with the Archer, fair enough. Okay, we do get to draw a card off Colossal Majesty, so that's cool. And find some pretty good stuff. Yeah, gotta just play Lathless here and kind of pray. And also need to leave the Rocks Oracle back, because if we swung, my opponent could just go for lethal. So the dream is we find our other dragon here. It's not super likely, but that's the dream. No removal? No removal? Okay. Okay, opponent just getting in. Might have like Trumpet Blast, so that's not even absurd. Well, these blocks are forced, so I guess we'll see what my opponent's got. Oh, they just have like a lightning strike. Yeah, okay. Well, I think we did as well as we could have in that game, given that we kind of got stuck on lands, but that's okay. Definitely want to bring in Plummet. Plummet maybe should just be main deck. It might be one of those formats where it is. Titanic Growth, I think, just kind of whatever in our deck. Like, our creatures are so big most of the time anyway. I just don't know if it ends up mattering. Dragon Egg, my opponent wasn't really swinging on the grounds. It seems not great. I think I'll just cut the growth here. Okay, and run this back. I hope for a slightly better draw. We almost got there. Alright, we'll take the opportunity to play first again. And yeah, have an okay keep. Again, kind of a high curve, but... I wonder how much... Somebody needs to do a count on how many times I say high curve over the course of this series, because it's going to be a lot. Okay. Forest is a pretty fine draw. Opponent with no true drop as of yet, which I appreciate. Arrowger. I would not be surprised at all to see this run to Hired Blade. That seems to be like the popular card of the set. Declare Dominance not looking great right now, certainly. Plague Mare. Can't be blocked by white creatures. When it's battlefield, creature opponent get -1/-1. It's pretty bad. At least right on this board. Does trade for the Ogre. I'm not actually sure I want to trade for the Ogre, though. Especially because we can maybe use Declare Dominance next turn and snipe whatever my opponent plays. Just pass here. Titanic Growth would be better than the Dominance in this case, I think. Although maybe not even. Yeah, it would have been. It would let our use our mana efficiently. This might be the wrong deck for this card, too. It might be really good in like a tokens deck when you're just hoping to break a board stall. Okay, I'm happy to get the Bloodletter kind of for free off Declare Dominance. Oh, got a 1-drop? It lets me 2 for 1. This is really cool. Oh. Oh, because he gained life. Oh, okay. I was like, why does that do anything? Because my opponent gained life. Alright, Nightmare's Thirst looking pretty solid there. Would love to find 5-drop. Basically just not a land. Okay, Electrify. That counts. Let's go ahead and pass. Volcanic Drake is 6 cost, so we won't be running into that. Don't think there's any pump spells that are going to get us. Usually the best these colors get is like +2, plus... Oh, there is the Undying one. +2/+0. That'd be kind of annoying. Still wouldn't be like miserable, but kind of annoying. Given that, the card's not particularly good, so I think a lot of people won't play it even if they have it in their pool. And I'd much rather kill the flyer, so let's try this. I maybe should have done it on our turn, though. I maybe gave my opponent another, like, out that we shouldn't have offered. I think we're going to play the Colossal Dreadmaw before Lathless this turn. Okay. Skeleton Archer. That does open us up to a hit from Volcanic Drake if they have it. But if they've got removal, I'd much rather use it, or have them use it on the Dreadmaw than on the Drake. So I think I like that. Getting hit by Volcanic Drake would be not great for us, but if they do play that, at the very least we're holding up the ground anyway. And I smell a removal smell. Ooh, Barger Brute. I wonder if Declare Dominance is just the play here. Turns into a 9/9. Potentially wipes my opponent's board. Murder is in the set, but they don't have double black. Outside of like another combat trick, and even like a combat trick's just not that bad for us. I think I'm gonna go for it and see if we can't just like eat my opponent's board. This seems good. Maybe I'm forgetting something. It's early in the set, so maybe I can't think of anything that they could have, but if I just get to like 3 for 1 my opponent and hit for, I guess, 2 extra points of damage through this, I can feel pretty good. Okay. Declare Dominance. Officially better than Titanic Growth. That was kind of stupid. The opponent's got 2 cards in hand. We have 3 pretty big threats that have to get removed. They've got a removal spell. We have Electrify. I'm feeling pretty good after that swing. Volley Veteran. Enters the battlefield, deals damage to target creature an opponent controls equal number of goblins you control. That's a goblin, right? Okay. Fair enough. That's probably a good omen for us because it probably means my opponent doesn't have a much better play here. We're going to swing and just go ahead and play Lathless. For some reason, I feel like this should be Lathla. This should end with an A in my head. Maybe it's just the whole feminine thing. I don't know. Lathless. Alright. And next turn we've got Siegebreaker Giant. I think we're in a pretty good spot. We do not have lethal, right? This could pump potentially twice. Opponent probably has the -3/-3 spell, if I had to guess. Go down to 4. I think we're just gonna take this. It may just also be a bluff attack, which, if it was a bluff, I mean, that's a pretty stone cold and good one. Ooh, Rabbit Bite I don't hate. Let's go ahead and swing with both. If my opponent has shenanigans, we can try and electrify. My opponent doesn't block. We do have lethal. Should we just go for it here? Yeah, I kind of think we do. We have to have instant speed removal. We could maybe make him use like the -3/-3 this turn, if that is indeed what they have, which seems not crazy unlikely. That's my guess. Okay, yes, that's what they've got. Okay, so we take my opponent down to 3. We are going to Rabbit Bite away the Volley Veteran. And then probably have lethal this turn. They'd have to have probably a creature and a removal spell. And they've only got 1. So unless there's some sort of like big bomb or something, I don't think it's real likely they're going to be able to hold out. Alright, yeah, Declare Dominance probably won us this game. The Colossal Dreadmaw went full Jurassic Park on them. Okay, cool. 1-1. Opponent is going to get to go first next turn, which is horrifying. Showed us some more beaters on the ground this time around. Maybe Dragon Egg is good. We're on defense. Have we seen a hit for Reclamation Sage yet? I don't think we have, although it's still a 3-drop in a deck that is kind of high on the curve. I wonder if the Twins is just too expensive. Like, this is a good ramp payoff, but we just have very little ramp. Kind of hate cutting on our creatures in a deck that really, really likes us to have some creatures, though. Let's Declare Dominance, Find the Dust. Ugh. I don't know. It was so good last game, though. It was so good. Oh, yeah. I think on defense, we just can't afford to have another liability card. Like, if my opponent's beating us down, making one of our creatures big, having to swing with it, and them not really, like, only sniping like one creature just isn't that great. Okay, reasonable hand here. Kind of expensive. Don't have any green, which is worrisome, but most of our early drops are red. Yeah, I will keep this on the draw. Okay, another mountain is not really what we're hoping to find at this point, although lands in general are not the worst. No 2-drop. Goblin Instigator. Fair enough. Actually doesn't swing past the Ogre particularly well. Forest is a good draw. Go ahead and pass. I always appreciate the fact when they have the same guy do the like token creator and the token art, since it just looks like the same guy. It's always kind of cute. Yeah, we will take 2 here. And opponent has a Vampire Neonate. Okay. I don't think this card is really very good unless you have life gain synergies. My opponent does have that X spell. So potentially we could play the Ogre and have it just killed next turn by the X spell and us losing some life. Or, when I say the X spell, I mean the one that you lose, or it's -X/-X, where X is the number of life you gain this turn. Sorry, I don't remember a lot of the card names. Hopefully I'll get a little bit better as the format progresses. It's not impossible this is just like just blanks my opponent's board, though. Kind of looks like it does. Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, we'll block if my opponent's got a trick. They've got a trick. I don't think we can afford to just take this forever. And I think it's likely my opponent's got something, but... Okay. Anything else? Oh, okay, Skeleton Archer. Okay. Yeah, that's a... Yeah, I guess maybe we could have played around that. We did know they had Skeleton Archer. Okay, alright. Slight misplay. Slight misplay. We do hemorrhage a little bit of value there, but we also are in the mode of keeping our life total as high as possible here early. Okay, finding another forest means good. Alright, deck. No more lands for the rest of the game. Just no more. No mas. Haven't seen anything that Electrify would blow us out, but I think I'm still just going to shoot it here. I don't really relish the idea of my opponent having like a trick. because we do want to use it before combat, I think. And again, if they just have like some random +2/+2 or something, we look pretty embarrassed if we try and use Electrify on their turn. 5-drop would be good. We do have a lot of 5-drops. Okay, Plague Mare. Definitely wouldn't say no to like Sarkhan's Unsealing. Reclamation Sage. I guess that's a card we play. It's not a land, so that's good. Doesn't do tons right now, but that's okay. So kind of hoping for no Volcanic Drake. I think that's our big soft spot here. My opponent just gets into the Goblin, we'll take it, but we will trade with the Plague Mare. Kind of surprised this... Well, okay. I was gonna say, kind of surprised this didn't get sideboarded out, but actually... Well, no, we actually didn't really show them any 1-toughness creatures, I don't think. This is, like, devastating against some of the token decks, but... not real good against us. Oh, Lightning Strike. Wow, okay, that's pretty aggressive. What would that mean? My opponent has 1 card left in hand. I have to think they've still got removal if that's the case. Doesn't really change our play next turn. I'm pretty sure the Dreadmaug's getting in there. Huh. Lightning Strike. Yeah, removal seems very likely for my opponent. They're thinking, man, I just gotta try and force through as much damage as possible. And I've got another kill spell. Maybe that's the argument. Yeah, we will take another couple points of damage from the Neonate. Wonder how many different Neonates there have been. It feels like that's a very popular card name for Vampire. I guess I actually don't really know what that means, though. It's like new person in the group, like active treason. Oh. Okay, active treason. Alright. Going for big hits. We're not dead, but we're close. We have 2 life off the Neonate. Okay. I don't think that's something we play around, but that did get us really good there. We just probably have to play like my opponent doesn't have anything. Or we just have the top deck, do we? So we swing here, my opponent takes it. Play the twins. If they have removal, we die, but if they have removal, probably dead anyway. We have to draw a removal spell off the top. I think my opponent's likely just have like other lightning strikes or other bits of extra incidental damage too. Active Treason is probably a sideboard card, and probably a good one for my opponent, since we are trying to stabilize with just like 1 big threat. And it got us pretty good there. That was a super lava axe to deal 9 damage. Oh yeah, never mind, we're just dead, because my opponent could just activate the Neonate on their turn. Duh. We had 2 turns, but only sorta. Okay, well, a pretty close game. I think Active Treason did do the job for my opponent pretty well. And a little bit unfortunate to be 1-1, but 1-1 we are. I'll see you guys for match 3. Alright, we are here for match 3. Have a playable, if not exceptionally exciting hand. Let's go ahead and keep. My opponent is on the play with a forest of their own. So let's go ahead and play Mountain and have shock available to us. Rock's Oracle is actually a pretty good draw, I think. And Thorn Lieutenant. Alright. Whenever it becomes targeted with a spell or ability opponent controls, you get a 1/1 elf, and it gets big in the late game. Man, that seems like a rare. Okay. So probably pass here. I actually think we may not have a great spot to play the Ogre in, because I kind of want to play Manalith next turn and keep up Shock, and then go into Rock's Oracle the turn after. Oracle's nice because it will trade with the Thorn Lieutenant. Ooh, 3 colors. Oh. Well, I guess it's not going to matter. I thought I stopped F6ing quickly enough there, but doesn't turn out to be the way. Draconic Disciple, 2/2. Oh yeah, why can't we have this card? This card looks way better. It adds 1 mana of any color, and then turns into a dragon eventually. Seems pretty sweet. We are going to kill that before my opponent can ramp. Should have shocked on our last turn, but F6 got me, I guess. Next turn we'll have a Rock's Oracle. And hopefully that will help us snowball into some of our other, like, big late-game threats. I really want to draw the Unsealing again. Ooh, Goreclaw. Terror of Qualsisma? Qualsisma. Creature spells you control with power 4 or greater, Jeep. Whenever it attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 and gains trample until turn. That card seems good. Grizzly Bear's got an upgrade. Okay. Okay. Latless is pretty good as well, though. I'm going to play our Oracle. That should still trade with the Goreclaw if my opponent wants to go for it. One's had a pretty good start, though. Great 2-drop, great 3-drop, great 4-drop. We're just trying to hold on over here. Okay, Siegebreaker Giant, good draw as well. The dream here is to find, like, Sarkhan's Unsealing, or even Colossal Majesty, our big creature payoffs. I'm so happy we can play this deck. Oh man, we take 1 million damage. No. Okay, all right. Opponent can't quite activate that yet. Ouch. And 9. Go down to 9. I was saying I love these sort of decks. This is definitely sweet. Right, Latless. Hope you can block. My opponent has a combat trick. It's kind of bad, but if they had a combat trick, Siegebreaker Giant does not block the Goreclaw particularly well, so. Okay, Manalith, just on its own. Attacks? No attacks, alright, no combat trick. Alright, so this turn we've got 7 mana, we can play Siegebreaker Giant and keep up Titanic Growth. No combat trick doesn't necessarily mean no removal spell. My opponent can increase the size of the Thorn Lieutenant this turn. I think we're just going to play the Siegebreaker Giant. I guess that would get up to 6 power, right? So actually Siegebreaker Giant still blocks fairly well. Oh no, it's going to get even bigger though, because they'll pump before they swing. So this will actually turn into, I guess, a 7/8. Yeah, I think we just gotta sit on our hands. Oh, I shouldn't have used Manalith. That was a mistake. You should never utilize that earlier. I guess maybe there's some fear of my opponent having, like, Smelt. It's not real likely, though. Invoke the Divine is actually probably more likely. That Explosive Apparatus. Best 4-cost shock ever. Here's some cool rares, though. I think both of those are pretty fun. Yeah, the set seems sweet. Like, I know core sets often have a little bit of a bad rap for just not being as exciting as others, but I'm enjoying myself. Yeah, my opponent's got lots of mana. They can pay things that cost like 9 if they need to. Yeah, I think my opponent actually forgot about the cost reduction there. I bet it's going to be like a Fossil Dreadmaw. Oh, nope. Something else. Palita Moors, the Ruiner. Has Hexproof, hasn't dealt damage yet. Flying, Trample, Vigil. Oh, wait. No, Flying, Vigilance, Trample. Alrighty. That's pretty good. I mean, it's no Latless, but it's pretty good. We now have 8 mana, I guess. Come on, ogres. So, my opponent has to be a little bit cautious, because with Siegebreaker Giant, we can swing for kind of a stupidly high amount of damage. Problem is now Thorn Lieutenant's like a potentially massive threat, and Palladium Moors is also pretty stupid big. My opponent's at 20. So is my opponent going to pay for this in response? Does look like it. Okay. So all the cards are on the table, which is nice. Everything gets really big. So we block their Titanic Growth to keep it alive. Double block there. Block there. Just remain with Latless in hand. No, I guess we block like that. I guess it doesn't actually end up mattering too much, does it? We could take a lot of damage. Let's go ahead and block. I guess we kind of want to do maybe something like that in case they have small pump spell. So right now we're taking how much damage? This is 3, and that's 7, so 5 all told. do think we have to double block. Yeah, Thorn Lieutenant, so good. Yeah, I don't think that the blocks get any better than that. One gets to order their blockers, and we will Titanic Growth our dragon, and hope that us just like trading boards with the opponent, but us having the Dragon Queen as left is enough, even though we're going to get pretty low here. Oh yeah, it's not only a Dragon Queen, it's a titanically large Dragon Queen. My opponent doesn't have anything. Let's go ahead and swing. My opponent's got something hasty, I guess they get us, but let's put pressure on while the pressure's good. Do I want to try and bluff something, or is it worth it? I think we just potentially go for the 2-shot. Do we get to kill my opponent next turn? A Titanic Growth may have done it. My opponent's deck looks scary, though. What even are all these cards? Really good, is what they are. Tormenting Voice, pitching, Talons of Wildwood. Yeah, it seems good. And, I guess that's the only thing that gets pitched. Looking for some sort of answer. So dragon means they're not dead. Stalls them for a turn. We don't have any removal, which is fairly obvious for my opponent here. My opponent does have to chump block or will die, so. And pass back. Come on, Lathlas. Go the distance. I have faith in you. Want to find an answer? Oh, I forgot to say hello, good luck. Oh, I guess it's probably a little bit rude at this point. Havoc Devils? That's not an answer. And Colossal Majesty doesn't do too much. I guess we should have played the Mountain on the off chance they have like a gain 1 life sort of effect. I don't think that's real likely for it to be exactly 1. Alright. Come on, Lathlas. You can go the distance. I have faith in you. My opponent gonna get all the way up and then plummet us because I would cry. I will cry right now in front of you guys. Woohoo! Alright, alright. Turns out that keeping a big 6/6 on the board is pretty good. Okay, my opponent's deck looks super strong though. I'm concerned. We do have Manolith. We could maybe bring in Naturalize to try and hit that. We also have Talons of Wildwood, although that's... Naturalize is pretty bad against that. My opponent does seem to be a little bit bigger on the ramp side of things too, which is nice. Do you think Titanic Growth is going to be important? Declare Dominance is probably good. Naturalize we saw only 1 target for. Probably outside of the dragon doesn't exist. Dragon is pretty bad for us. I think Dragon Egg's probably good. Wonder Suspicious Bookshelf just isn't that exciting. Doesn't block most of my opponent's stuff that they showed us. It is an early play though. And just because they looked like they were a bigger ramp side style deck doesn't mean that they don't have some small drops. You know, I think that the Basilisk and the Ogre are still just better than Dragon Egg. I don't think I'm actually going to change anything this time around. Alright, submit. I feel bad that I forgot to say good luck. Try and go out of my way to do that, but again, I think it looks or will be taken not as kindly if I do it now. Let's go ahead and keep. And I think is pretty good. If we find 1 land of any kind, we can get going. Okay, that is not a land, but hopefully there's 1 forthcoming in the next couple of draws. 1 land off the top. Nice. So you just gotta ask for it. That's all you need. We're gonna start off with the Ogre. We may play Colossal Majesty after that instead of the Bristling board, though. Alright, see if my opponent's got anything here. Hopefully not the stupid ramp 3-drop. Not that. Centaur Courser, I will allow. Ooh, Manolith. I don't think it actually changes anything. I think we still just want to get the Ogre into play, but honestly, Manolith's probably just worse than a land for where we are sitting now, unless we just hit straight land drops from here on out. So opponent swings. I kind of want to get Colossal Majesty into play. I think I'll probably take it and try and crack back for 4. One is getting in. Yeah, we're just going to take it. Okay. Oracle's dangerous. Getting a land would have been nice because we could have electrified it. We can play Colossal Majesty. That's probably our best line here, right? Probably means we're going to find a land next turn. If that's the case, I think we just need to accept that we're taking a lot of damage next turn. I think we'll swing with the Ogre. My opponent is not going to block. Alternatively, I guess we could play the Manolith and then try and just build out our game more old-fashioned. Maybe Colossal Majesty is just not enough here. It does get ruined by like any removal spell. If we play the Manolith, we have Electrify for sure next turn to kill Goreclaw. Alright, I think that actually might be better. Ugh, why aren't you a land? So much worse than land. But some of the time it is legitimate ramp, and this deck does want legitimate ramp too. Havoc Devils. Solid card. Also, my opponent doesn't swing here. Ah, okay. Rabid Bite. Yeah, playing that basically, or very, very cheaply off the Goreclaw. Yeah, I think this might be a pretty fast game. We definitely kind of mised our way through on the last one. We Electrify, go down to 2. Bristling Boar. Block, and we're dead, right? Gotta Electrify. Don't have a whole lot of hope at this point, but you never know, you never know. Again, no real disadvantage in just playing out the game. I think that was a good keep. We end up getting a little bit stumbling on mana, but again, given as high as our curve is, I wonder if we should be playing like 18 lands. Although it feels like the Manolith kind of is filling in there. Oh, okay. Rest in peace. Yeah, pretty fast loss that time. We are on the play this next game, which I like. Still don't see much good for Plummet. Yeah, I don't think we're changing anything again. All right, would like to play first. Ugh. Ah, man, another tough one. We find any land, we have the Ogre. We do have Sarkhan's Unsealing. I feel like there's just too high of a failure chance on this hand, though. I think I'm gonna toss it back. Ugh, does not feel good. Okay, this hand is better. Let's go ahead and keep. That was another really close mulligan. Opponent mulliganed as well. I would not look down on people for keeping at that point. I think actually we'll keep Suspicious Bookcase. Seems okay. My opponent's got like Centaur Courser or something. Maybe it blocks fairly well. It's not a great card, but there are probably cards my opponent could have that it helps blank. You know, I'm thinking about it more and more. Maybe we should just cut that. Although, like, if we're bottoming it here, that means it should just not be in the deck. So maybe we should have just sideboarded it out. Because playing it turn 2 is its absolute best case scenario, right? Okay. And it still just feels super anemic here. Alright, so the goal here is find lands and find, like, Anaki Ogres, so we can start going off with Sarkhan's Unsealing. Ooh. Blue-black. I guess that's true, the black should have tipped us off. Okay, well, Suspicious Bookcase may be better then. Opponent throwing us a curveball right here at the end. Do we want to play Reclamation Sage just out there? I don't think that we're really going to win the game off of that, and potentially hitting like a powerful artifact in this color combination might be important. Blue, I think, definitely is an artifact color, so I think we're just going to pass. I don't know if that 2 points of damage is going to matter as much as the upside of maybe getting to snipe something with Reclamation Sage. So ideally, I like my opponent to play something just kind of random here, so I can make sure that the... Okay, perfect, we'll shock that. And then Sarkhan's Unsealing is going to get going for sure. Opponent gets a little bit of value out of that, but not tons. Alright, and Colossal Dreadmaw is just a couple turns away, hopefully. Sarkhan's Unsealing is pretty powerful when it resolves. I think that gives us a much better shot at being able to take down this game. Man, I am super surprised my opponent sideboarded out of their green-red. It felt like that deck was just so good. Okay, an Electrify. Whatever. My opponent does seem to be stuck on 3 mana. Guess we're just gonna pass. We'll take 2 from the Bloodletter probably, and then maybe Electrify it after combat if my opponent doesn't give us a better target. We can afford to be a little bit more cavalier with this because we do have the Unsealing. Take 2, get into 16. Opponent doesn't play anything. Yeah, I think we'll use the Electrify then. Got in 3 points of damage though, not bad for my opponent. Another Electrify. Alright, I guess we will just pass here. Targets and Sealing will do good work eventually, I swear. But I could have Hired Blade that are just going to flash in here. Yep, that's fine with me. Suspicious Bookcase does a pretty good job of keeping that from doing anything great. No play. And yeah, I don't think I care all that much about that. Hey, a land. I like lands. Let's pass. Okay, opponent not doing much. We're also not doing much. We could declare dominance on the Suspicious Bookcase, although having Defender does put Adapter on that. We find a land though, I mean, this is a cast trigger, so even if my opponent's holding counter magic, we get to get some pretty good value out of that. And blue-black's not super likely to have an answer to the Unsealing once it's resolved. My opponent's got to have a pretty good... Oh, totally lost. Not great for us. We will shoot the Hired Blade then. And I guess we'll just replay the Bookcase next turn. I guess we could have killed the Bookcase. Nah, that's not good. Just to make sure we wouldn't draw it this turn, since it's not a great draw. But still sandbagging Reclamation Sage, I think. But like I said, my opponent's got to have a good reason for being black-blue as well. Like, because their red-green deck was really good. So this feels like it's got to be somewhat comparable. It's not playing anything. Alright, Dreadmaw. I think it's very likely this gets countered, but if it doesn't, great. Bone Dash. Okay. Drawing a card is not fantastic for us, but that's okay. We were going to run into that at some point, I think. Opponent's got 7 cards in hand. We do have more like board presence. The Unsealing's pretty good, but we're kind of dead on cards in hand. I wonder if we should have just played the Reclamation Sage forever ago. He may have been getting in for a not insignificant amount of damage. Horizon Scholar. Okay, that's pretty good. Come on, big fatty off the top. Really want to shoot this. Really want to shoot this. Big fatty off the top. Okay, opponent went bottom and top. Ah, man, do we have to play the Reclamation Sage because we maybe need to declare dominance to like kill another flyer or something next turn? Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe we should have just played this as like a poop card, even if we weren't getting any value out of it. Not gonna do that. Alright, we take 4 from the Horizon Scholar. And hopefully my opponent's not... Well, even if they are sandbagging more counterspell, the fact that this is a cast trigger maybe gets us there. Yeah, I don't know. Having the declared dominance in hand means we probably should have played the Reclamation Sage. That was probably a mistake. Because the upside of being able to snipe something like Horizon Scholar is really high. Rise from the Grave. That's gonna be a problem too. Hitting a few too many lands, and Declare Dominance doesn't actually manage to kill that. I guess we get in for 2 with Suspicious Bookshelf. Don't think that matters. I think I want to maybe give my opponent the fear of a combat trick. Oh, yeah. Probably not using that earlier was just a mistake. But I feel like we did kinda whiff on the Unsealing too, which is unfortunate. So if we block there, we only take 6. Yeah, Declare Dominance, much worse than Titanic Growth this time around. Now if we do find an answer for Colossal Dreadmaw though, I mean, we could find like something big here. And then be able to shoot the Horizon Scholar and kill, or maybe trade with the Dreadmaw. Like Siege Master wouldn't be bad, or Siege Breaker. Colossal Majesty, I'm afraid, is not going to do it though. Alright, well... GG. That was kind of a disappointing finale to the series. I should have played Reclamation Sage earlier, that's on me. But a lesson to be learned, I guess, that if we don't know my opponent's got targets, we should just throw it out there. Well, darn. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. This deck's so sweet, though. Look at this huge ramp deck. Alright, well, hopefully we can still redeem ourselves, get that sweet 3-2, finish up with a couple more match wins. I'll see you guys for match 4. Alright, we are back for match 4. I remember to say good luck this time, so that's a good omen. And we actually have like the lowest possible curve this deck could have, so that's probably a good thing. Let's go ahead and keep. See what my opponent's up to there. Island. Okay, probably on the slower side. And I guess we'll start off with a mountain so we can shock something if the occasion calls for it. Okay, so blue-white is quote-unquote the artifact stack. Definitely doesn't need to be what my opponent's doing, but that does bode well for our Reclamation Shaman, I think. Or Reclamation Sage. I think I've been calling it Shaman this whole time. Oops. Elf Shaman, Reclamation Sage. Ooh, 3 colors. Never mind. Natural Tron over there. With the Divination. Alright. I can get behind what my opponent's doing here. Seems sweet. Let's play our Ogre, and we'll pass. Just a little bit off of Declare Dominance. What a beautiful color combination. Very, very appropriate for the 4th of July, I suppose. Okay. Starground Stag tends to be a little bit more on the aggressive side. I wonder if they're blue-red splashing? I think it's likely that if my opponent's playing this sort of card, they probably have pump spells in their deck. We're just gonna shoot this, get in for a couple points of damage, and go get him, Ogre. Next turn, if my opponent plays anything that will die to a Declare Dominance, I think we'll just throw that in there. Oh, okay. Return target artifact to your hand. Okay. Does block the Ogre, but not real exciting outside of that. We just want to trade. Then we get the Siegebreaker Giant into play. And if my opponent doesn't have another effect, it's very likely to be able to kill at least one thing. I think that's actually okay. Let's go ahead and trade. Because I do want the board to be as empty as possible when Siegebreaker Giant comes into play. It just gets better the fewer creatures there are. Opponent yet to show us artifacts, but the trusty Pack Beast makes that a little bit more likely. You can play this as a 2/3 for 3 if you just need some like lower curve stuff, but Rising Scholar, a perfect target for Declare Dominance. My opponent does get to Scry too, which is great. Rising Scholar is just a good card, but we at least do have a fairly good answer here. Even if it's just a 1-for-1 with a lot of damage attached to it, it doesn't feel so bad. Alright, declare your dominance. I appreciate the fact that it's like declaring dominance, but people are still all challenging it, right? Yeah, you have to block that. Get my opponent for 5, and pass. So if we have nothing else, Suspicious Bookcase can give us a 2-turn clock still. Even Wind Mage, fair enough. Lightning Strike, oh, okay. Rest in peace, Siegebreaker Giant. So much for the 2-turn clock. So now we'd really like to find lands so that we can get the Colossal Dread into play. Land? See, just have to ask. The fact this does die to Lightning Strike is definitely downside, but it's, I think, still a pretty great card. We haven't actually been able to use it as the inevitability engine, and I think in this kind of go big deck, it actually may not be quite as good in a more aggressive like deck as a top, like a top end of the curve. But I think it's still good here. Dismissive Pyromancer. So red tap, discard a card, draw a card. 2 red tap, burn stuff. Burn, keep, burn. That's pretty funny. I like the flavor text. It's a cool card. Skilled Animator. Yeah, my opponent's gotta have artifacts, they just haven't drawn them. Can you choose one of mine? No, artifact you control. Yeah, we'll definitely take it here. Probably shoot the Dismissive Pyromancer. They can pay and blow up the Suspicious Bookcase. Maybe not great for us. Don't think it's real likely my opponent can afford to block here. They're going to 5? Okay, just a chump block. Fair enough. That does keep them out of range. Suspicious Bookcase, maybe. Although we could just sandbag Shock and try and get in that way. I'm worried about keeping this in play, though. It just feels like there's a lot of value my opponent can get from it. I don't want to kill it now. That may be a little bit too defensive, like, since the 2 damage going to my opponent's face is not irrelevant. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. My opponent's got 2 cards in hand, though. We've got 2 fairly large threats. Okay, looks like that's going to be enough for them for that game. What do they got so far? Flyers, kind of a, I think it is a true 3-color deck. Bring in Plummet for sure. Naturalize, maybe. They gave us a lot of indications they do have artifacts, although we did not actually see any. Declare Dominance might be okay. I think when in doubt, that might just be the card we should be cutting, though. I do think it has its place. I'm glad we've been able to play with it a couple of times. Well, I don't know. Titanic Growth? Maybe Titanic Growth. Yeah, I think Declare Dominance we'll cut. Alright, pretty good hand here. Let's go ahead and keep. We do need to find lands, but we have a shock early on. And if we do find lands, we potentially go Colossal Majesty into Bristling Boar, which is pretty good. Yeah, Lantless, or Lathless, is powerful, but not my favorite draw right here. Come on, lands. Give us some lands. I've been saying that a lot. I wonder if this should just be an 18 land deck. Probably. You have such a high curve. Land. Nice. That's just gonna be like my catchphrase for the series, I guess. Me saying land and trying to catch my deck off guard. So, no play yet. Interesting. On land. Monolith is kind of a land. I think playing Colossal Majesty has enough upside that we're just gonna do it here. Because if we do find a land next turn, it gets us going. If not, next turn we can play like Monolith, plus keep shock up. Wow. Is my opponent just flooded? They haven't played anything. Okay, we did find a land. We're going to play the Bristling Boar. Not impossible my opponent's got. Counter magic here. Not. Okay, yeah. Probably like Electrify then. Lightning Strike. Okay. We'll rather hit that than Siegebreaker Giant. Mountain I think is just our straight up best draw here, although... Oh, I love you, deck. Siegebreaker Giant? See if they have removal for this one. Do not. So we're going to draw again next turn. We find another land. Hint, hint. We'll play Lathless. Horizon Scholar. Ooh, Salvager of Secrets. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. My opponent gets the Lightning Strike back. Means they will have a nice clean answer to Siegebreaker Giant next turn. It's kind of crazy how much worse this card is than like a Snapcaster Mage. But it's probably still just good. So I'll always yield to that. Come on, land. Nice. Ooh. Dragon's Unsealing is very tempting. I think we're going to play Monolith and then the Unsealing. And get that in when my opponent can't have any counter magic. I guess we should swing with the Siegebreaker Giant first, although I don't think there's anything that's going to change this here. Cool. I want to take 6. And Unsealing, and the next turn Lathless is going to make the deck look pretty busted, I think. My opponent does have an answer for the Siegebreaker Giant in hand, but ooh, opponent tapping cards excitedly. Horizon Scholar would get wrecked. Oh, Switcheroo. That's pretty good for my opponent, but we have the Unsealing at least, so. And Switcheroo, since it's not mind control, I mean, it's card quality advantage always, but it's not quite as much of a 2-for-1, since I did get a 2/2 out of the deal, which is like not fantastic, but not bad either. Is Essence Scatter in the set? I do not remember what counter magic there is. I know there is just cancel. Yeah, okay. Well, we're gonna play Lathless. I think we're okay. I'm gonna blow up the giant. Glad my opponent used Switcheroo last turn. And not looking like they have an answer. Cool. We'll go ahead and swing with our Salvager here. And we still have Shock Up, which is not like a huge deal, but nice to have available for going into the next turn as well. Ooh, something? Okay, Disperse. Interesting. So my opponent manages to get that back, so they'll be able to buy back the Switcheroo. Okay. Can't do 2 in 1 turn. Okay, that's pretty sweet though. That's pretty sweet. I like that play. I like that play. Man, I should have. I guess I could have shocked in response. I had F6'd. But yeah, actually, shocking response would have been probably pretty powerful there. Because my opponent is going to have a Lathless. Although we can kill stuff, and then they... Because Switcheroo has to have a target, right? So I guess that actually makes it not as bad. We have access to 8 mana here. Do I want to keep up Rapid Bite or Shock more? I guess actually we probably just want to play the Dreadmaw, kill the Salvager, right? Blow up that. Because then my opponent needs an additional target. They'd have to have something cheap. Shocking response to Switcheroo does not work. Alright, well, we'll still swing. We can always use Rapid Bite next turn to kill off our Lathless if we need to. That was pretty cool, though. Salvager of Secrets, grab back Switcheroo. I'm on board. And then we probably have Lethal if they play in Switcheroo. Because they have to take Lathless, which is tapped. Colossal Dreadmaw plus Shock or whatever else they'd have. Okay. And that is enough. So, pretty quick victory in the 4th match. And 2-2, 2-2. This last game will determine our fate, whether we are shamed or whether we are ambivalent. See you guys for match 5. Alright, we are back for match 5 with, unfortunately, another unkeepable hand. Feels like our draws have not been super kind to us this time around, but we'll toss this back and hope that this one's better. Which it is. Not by miles, but it is. It's going to keep. I think we're actually going to put that on the bottom. Despite wanting to get to the top end, we already have 4 lands in hand. Opponent playing Timber Gorge. There's our Reclamation Sage. That is an early play, at least. So that's nice. Even if it's not real likely to hit something. We are just going to jam it this time. I've learned my lesson. Ooh. Okay, opponent playing at least 3 colors. Pretty sweet. Electrify is pretty good draw. Let's see what they can show us here. Still just no play? Still just no play? Yeah, let's play our Reclamation Sage. No real value here, but... Again, I think actually sandbagging it might be a mistake. Giant Spider. Do we electrify that? We do have multiple electrifies in hand. We could just Titanic Growth to get through. That's probably a little bit better. Opponent definitely blocks. I don't see a world why they wouldn't. Giant Spider's job is to eat things exactly like Titanic Growth, so we get through, but with no real other value. Okay, Thornhide Wolves. Just big enough that Electrify is kind of a problem for us. So I guess maybe Titanic Growth would have been nice. Okay, Gaspark Twins is not a bad draw. Yeah, I think we're just gonna pass here. Let my opponent swing in. We'll try and trade Reclamation Sage plus an Electrickery away for the Thornhide Wolves. This card isn't bad. It's mostly just really big. Block. And then on my opponent's end step, we're gonna try and Electrify. Hopefully they don't have something here. I kind of expect them to play something. They don't. Interesting. They're just kind of flooded, maybe? Well, Declare Dominance is better when we have a creature, certainly. Yeah, just gonna go ahead and pass back, I guess. Uh-oh. Palaka Worm. That's a good card. Probably not one we're gonna beat. Gaspark Twins does block it eventually. Fine lands. Yeah, not too much we can do about this right now. That's a great curve topper, though. Ouch. A land off the top's pretty important. Okay, yeah. So we're just dead, aren't we? Yeah, we could like electrify. We can't do it twice. Okay, well I guess we'll pass back and let our opponent kill us. They didn't really play anything all game, and we didn't really threaten them too much. And turns out some 7/7s on turn 7 are pretty good, so rest in peace. Okay. Opponent also going big here. Did not show us removal really that game, but it's probably likely they have it. Dragon Egg seems okay. Better Dominant still seems fine if we're a little bit more proactive. Obviously, I like the Basilisks. I think Dragon Egg is still just the weakest link. Let's run it back. Alright, we would like to play first. And we have a better hand this time, so that's good. Let's go ahead and keep. We can go turn 3 Manolith, which isn't exceptional, but turn 4 is Unsealing, turn 5 Bristling Boar and kill something. And hopefully that helps us kind of regain any tempo that we may have lost. And we do have the mana here. We're actually, I guess, Spartan Dragon's still pretty expensive. Druid of the Cal. That is the card that I would have loved to have, but sometimes you just don't quite get it. Interesting. So we could play that over Manolith. That's probably just better, right? Man, I feel like we're assembling Exodia or something here. We've got like enchantment number 1 come in, enchantment number 2, and then finally we play something that does something. But Skyrider Patrol. Okay, that's a pretty real threat. On another target creature, so my opponent actually can't target itself, so it will be able to die. Yeah, I like getting the Unsealing into play, I think, as soon as we can here. And next turn, Bristling Boar should land. Eldritch Rejuvenator. Okay, another... I don't think this card is fantastic. Probably comparable to... Well, I don't know. It's funny. Probably comparable to Borderland Ranger, and Borderland Ranger was quite good. The fact that this doesn't find any of your splash colors is a little bit unfortunate, but it is actually like a rampant growth too, so that's pretty sweet. I guess we want to play the Oracle since it's most mana efficient here, and if we find another land, we could go Manolith into Bristling Boar next turn. So let's play our Oracle, blow up the Skyrider Patrol, and pass the turn. Okay. So we have Electrify as well going forward, which is always nice. Oh wow, they have their own Unsealing. Alright, alright. This is pretty sweet. This is pretty sweet. Land? Love a land. Almost. So do we play something and shoot something? Or do we just... I guess the question is like Manolith plus Suspicious Bookcase, which really isn't all that much. But then Manolith is guaranteed to get us like Dreadmaw next turn. I guess let's swing with our Oracle. Are we okay trading this? Yeah, I think I am. I think my opponent blocks will just allow the trade rather than using Electrify. I kind of want to keep my options for Sarkhan's Unsealing in hand, since it seems likely that we're going to need to shoot some stuff in this matchup. I think I'm actually going to play Manolith into the Bookcase. And not have an immediate payoff for Unsealing. I guess maybe that's bad, because then we're less likely to draw something off Majesty, since my opponent is very likely to have something here to kill off the Oracle. Yeah, I think that actually was a mistake. Drawing a card, I think, is as good as the activation. Dwindle. Oh, okay. Sure. Well, we don't get to draw a card. Doesn't do tons. Go ahead and block. Dwindle. I mean, this still just... I guess when it blocks, it dies, though. It's okay. We have 6 available. No real reason not to throw out the Dreadmaw, I don't think. Well, I guess we'll blow up the Druid of the Cal. It's possible my opponent just has like a bunch of 6 drops still in hand. Oh, okay. And that's actually enough for my opponent. Alright. Their deck seems good. Clockworm is something else. We want to bring in a Naturalize for Sarkhan's Unsealing. I think we're still just okay with Reclamation Sage being our potential out. Don't really see anything else we want. Yeah, we haven't sideboarded a lot in these matches, but I think we have sideboarded the correct amount too. Okay, and we've got a good hand, or at least a reasonable hand. Let's go ahead and keep. My opponent has mulligan down to 6, but keeps that seemingly fairly happily, and puts a card on top. So they probably still have a pretty good hand here. Mulliganing does hurt the ramp deck for sure, though, so... I should have played Mountain first to maybe show off we had Shock, although, did we ever actually show that we had Shock? Can't remember. Stupid Druid of the Cal. Okay, the Ogre's pretty nice. I think we are going to follow it up with Colossal Majesty. Or we're going to start off with the Colossal Majesty. Well, no, I guess there's no reason not to just hit the bigger stuff, right? Look at the top, create a library, if it's a land card, and reveal and put in your hand. Oh man, it's a 1/3 again. Does nothing die to Shock? Oh, we don't have Shock. What am I talking about? Just that we should have played that before. I know I'm special, guys. It's okay. Alright, take one. We're gonna play the Ogre. I guess actually Basilisk. Although, I think we're okay trading Ogre away for stuff, aren't we? And we want to maybe get Colossal Majesty online. Yeah, Ogre hits a little bit harder. I think that's a little bit better. Yeah. So we're hoping that they whiff on the free lands. No land? Puts no cards. Perfect. Divinates. They do not have red yet. Okay. Another land. We are going to play the Majesty, I think, this turn, and hope they just can't actually answer the Ogre. I think is a possibility, given that they do seem to be stuck on red so far. Although Divination maybe got them out of that too. Okay, opponent. Come on, miss. Ooh, no lands. They can't seriously not have a land to play after the Divination, though, right? That would be pretty unlucky. Dwindle, okay. And no land, it looks like. Okay, that's good for us. No draw off the Colossal Majesty, but we're going to play something even scarier. Mr. Siegebreaker Giant, with a couple of tricks to help it get through. Dwindle is -6/-0, so it would still get got there. No land? Wow, yeah, my opponent is really, really bricked here. Rejuvenator's gotta find him something, though, right? It just has to. And the rest go on the bottom, right? Yeah, in a random order, even. But we get to draw our free card. Ooh, it feels so good. I love this card. Like, I love Triumph of Ferocity back in Avacyn Restored. Just like the first set I really drafted. This is very, very similar. Love Garruk's pack leader. Yeah, I think it's pack leader. Just super sweet. Not much reason not to just swing here, I don't think. I think we will play the Basilisk and not keep up Electrify. Self-Titanic Growth. My opponent finds a way to, like, shoot something, I guess. Yes. Okay. And, I mean, we'll kill my opponent in fairly short order here. Man, yeah, my opponent just had abysmally bad luck with the Green Seeker. Did finally find red, but they activated this like 4 times and haven't hit. That's pretty unlucky. Totally lost. Yeah, I mean, I can't really do anything about that. Keeps us from drawing another card. Okay, let's swing with our Daggerback Basilisk. Replay the Giant. And still have Titanic Growth up. Maybe save myself from, like, Lightning Strike, that sort of burn spell. My opponent is still 1 off of Pluck Worm, but maybe the Green Seeker will finally find it. It's tapped land, though. I may consider electrifying the Druid of the Cal next turn. Although I guess if my opponent, like, plays something here, we actually probably just have lethal, right? Because we can... Well, no, not... Well, depends. Depends on what they play. Sarkhan's Unsealing. I think that gives us lethal. Because we can shoot one of these guys again with the Breaker Giant and Titanic Growth. Yeah, my opponent had a pretty rough draw that time around. It was pretty slow. Okay, and let's go ahead and swing with both. And that should just be game, unless there's Unsummon. But since there's Disperse in the set, I somehow doubt there's Unsummon. Okay, Titanic Growth. Gotcha. Alright. Hey, so not like exceptionally good start, but not miserable either, right? We managed to go 3-2 in our first pre-release sealed and had a lot of fun for sure. I do think the set's pretty sweet. I already love Sarkinson Sealing, and I'm going to probably play with Colossal Mastery way more often than I should. I love playing big stuff. It's just in my nature, I guess. And it feels like a lot of times there's not a good opportunity to really go that. A lot of times you either need to be more aggressive in draft, or you need to, and sealed, or you need to be playing other kind of non-creature big spells. But it was fun to be able to play the big creature deck here. As always, thanks so much for watching. You guys are the best. I'm going to edit this ASAP and hopefully get it up the same day. That does mean, for those of you who are regular viewers, I probably won't have a sealed, I guess, or any content, I guess, tomorrow morning. Usually I post on Saturdays, but you guys are going to get it Friday night this time. I assume you'll forgive me for that. I'm excited. I'll see you guys, I guess, in like 2 or 3 hours.